Jamaica's Independence Day has come and gone, but the echoes of the celebration linger in the hearts and minds of all of us who were bred on the soil. This year's festivities were marked by a vibrant showcase of Jamaica's rich cultural heritage, uniting people from all corners of the island and beyond.
No matter where in this world I go, I am a Jamaican. No birth papers I have to show, 'cause I am a Jamaican.
We will continue to rise our nation's flag as we celebrate our men and women who are participating in this year's Olympics in Paris. Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Adrian Atkinson, and today we have a great lineup for you, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the news.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Friday, August 9, 2024. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has issued instructions for the development of a national plan by April 2025 to build resilience within the agriculture sector. The directive has been given to the Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, Floyd Green. This comes against the background of the recent onslaught by Hurricane Beryl, along with the continued nuisances of climate change, COVID-19, and other adversities that have been plaguing the industry. Mr. Holness says creating a national agriculture resilience plan is part of ensuring Jamaica's food security,
which would include increasing the local production of goods here in Jamaica using Jamaican input and Jamaican resources, to increase our processing capabilities for food, to increase our storage capabilities for food, to increase the financing available to small and medium-sized and large farmers, because we must start to treat agriculture as a business and not only as a passion.
The Prime Minister was speaking at the Denbigh Agricultural, Industrial and Food Show on Tuesday. He says the Agriculture Minister has commenced work on the national plan and has secured funding to recruit a consultant.
And I don't want another study that is going to be put on file 13. As we work out the pathways to resiliency, we are going to start implementing. And that means that whatever we agree to do, we are going to put it in the budget so it goes through the public investment process, so it gets on the train line of projects that will not be disturbed.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the Hurricane Beryl relief effort has again underscored the need for a national identification of citizens. He made the point while addressing the recent launch of the Rebuild initiative, that is assisting persons with grants of up to $400,000 to carry out repairs to their houses. Mr. Holness says the verification of identity is critical to the assessment process in order to determine who is in great need and to ensure proper accounting records. He laments that while the process has improved over the years, each time there is a crisis, the support process is lengthy and it becomes tedious to garner accurate information. This, he asserts, would be greatly alleviated when NIDS comes on board, eliminating the need for multiple points of verification.
Nobody from the ministry would have to come again and ask, so what's your mother's name? What's your father's name? What's your TRN number? What's this? What's that? Who you're related to? And by the way, every time there is a disaster, this process has to go through again. It can take weeks. So for the government to be able to move the distribution from 8 weeks, as it were, after Hurricane Ivan to now 4 weeks thereabout, shows that we have made significant improvement. But it could be even faster if we had a national identification system.
The Ministry of Agriculture is calling on Jamaicans to report any instances of unregulated imported honey or bee products to the Bodles Research Station. Chief Plant Protection Officer in the ministry's apiculture unit, Hugh Smith, issued the appeal in a recent discussion with JIS News. He emphasizes that Jamaicans need to examine honey products on store shelves, particularly those not originating from Jamaica.
All honey requires a permit if it's entering Jamaica. Now, some of these honey do pose a risk to our industry, and we have to protect our industry. So we're asking you to report any case of imported honey, any case of imported bee product to the Ministry of Agriculture.
Mr. Smith was speaking at the recent Denbigh Agricultural, Industrial and Food Show in Clarendon. He warns that unregulated honey imports could introduce exotic pests and diseases, posing a severe threat to the local beekeeping sector. This, he says, could also lead to the loss of essential pollinators and have significant repercussions for both beekeepers and crop producers. The local fight against human trafficking has been boosted with a technological donation from the International Organization of Migration, IOM. The organization recently donated 20 Samsung tablets to the Ministry of National Security for the National Task Force Against Trafficking in Persons. Victim survivors of trafficking and the anti-trafficking unit in the Jamaica Constabulary Force are to benefit from the donation. Chief Technical Director in the ministry, Michael Morgan, says the tablets will aid in the operations of government entities that tackle human trafficking, and the government is grateful for the partnership with the IOM. The Company's Office of Jamaica is reporting that it has significantly reduced customer wait time and improved the delivery of services that support the ease of doing business. Chief Executive Officer and Registrar of Companies at the COJ, Shelley Leon, tells JIS News that this is being achieved through the introduction of a series of new services. These include e-ticketing and lobby services, as well as a rejection help desk to assist persons having issues with making their applications.
So there were some transactions that our internal customers, it would have taken them, say, 1 hour to do. Now, it is taking them 5 minutes. What this means is they can process external customer applications at a faster turnaround time.
E-ticketing allows customers to register for a virtual ticket online, view their position in the queue, and receive SMS notifications when their ticket number is called and when the transaction is completed. Persons who need certified copies of their articles of incorporation to open a bank account can now obtain these documents directly through its lobby service, bypassing the need to wait for a customer service representative. The Registrar of Companies also launched a floor walker service to assist small businesses.
What our floor walkers do, they engage customers, they assist them with completing their forms, and what this in turn does, it reduces the wait time.
And finally, the Ministry of Health is urging Jamaicans to be vigilant as its surveillance data shows an increased risk for COVID-19 infection with a high transmission of the SARS-CoV-2 virus among the population. In a statement released yesterday, the ministry revealed that the country recorded 176 COVID-19 cases in July, a 16% increase from the 152 recorded in the previous month. Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine and St. James had the highest distribution of cases. 13 COVID-19 deaths have been reported since the start of the year. Members of the public are reminded to remain home if they feel ill and to follow the infection prevention protocols when in public spaces. These include wearing a mask to prevent the spread of respiratory droplets, practicing proper sneezing and coughing etiquette, and washing hands or using hand sanitizers. Jamaicans traveling abroad are especially urged to be diligent in practicing these infection prevention protocols. Additionally, immunocompromised persons and those with chronic conditions are asked to pay particular attention to their care management. The Health Ministry says it continues to recommend vaccination as the best defense against severe illness and death associated with COVID-19. At present, doses of the Pfizer vaccine are available to the population. And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Hurricanes can be dangerous, catastrophic events, but we can lessen the damage if we are prepared. Keep up to date with the latest information from reliable sources such as the Meteorological Service and ODPEM. The power will probably go with the internet following, so a good old battery-operated radio is a must-have. Stock up on non-perishable food items and emergency items such as flashlights and extra batteries. Secure important documents. Have a pre-packed emergency bag with safety gear such as raincoats and water boots. Ensure windows are protected and roofing is secured. Have updated information on emergency shelters near you in case you need to evacuate during the storm. Preparation will lessen the devastation when dealing with a hurricane. Be prepared.
Climate change is one of today's most important challenges, as among its many dangers are more severe weather, rising sea levels and ecological changes. It affects every one of us, and tackling it demands community effort.
Adapting to climate change means taking actions that reduce its impacts on humans and the environment. What we do around our homes, schools, work, and communities can help to reduce negative climate impacts. Taking action to reduce these impacts is not as difficult as you may think. There are some actions which require lots of money or skills. However, there are other simple steps you can take. Install hurricane straps on roofs or build with flat roofs to reduce damage to homes, schools, and other buildings during storms. Catch rainwater in drums for use in your garden or household. Install drip irrigation to conserve precious water on your family farm during periods of drought. Installing gabion baskets to prevent or reduce soil movement, especially during sudden heavy rainfalls after an extended dry period, is a good measure. Dispose of garbage properly so it does not end up in our drains and gullies. Blocked drains and gullies make it harder for water to flow during heavy rainfall. This results in flooding. Finally, use climate-smart building designs that allow buildings to remain cooler even as temperatures increase. Climate change mitigation can remove, reduce, or even prevent greenhouse gas emissions into the atmosphere. Plant more trees to remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Use renewable energy sources such as wind and solar to reduce the amount of carbon dioxide that enters the atmosphere in the first place. These are good examples of climate change mitigation measures. Let's conserve energy. Switch off lights when not in use. Unplug appliances such as TVs and computers after use. Switch to energy-efficient appliances and light bulbs. Put energy-saving timers on your refrigerators. Saving energy will save you money in the long run, and reducing fossil fuel use will lower the amount of greenhouse gases that enter the atmosphere. If each Jamaican practices these actions, together we will help our country deal with the many damaging effects of climate change. Achieving the transformation our country needs will require households, community-based organizations, government, and the private sector working together to raise awareness for positive changes in behavior and policies to minimize the negative impacts of climate change. Do your part.
What are you doing about antimicrobial resistance? Antibiotic resistance is recognized by the World Health Organization as one of the top 10 public health threats facing the world. Misuse of antibiotics has given rise to this global crisis. But there's hope. Safe use of antibiotics is key. Adhering to prescribed dosages and duration is crucial. Use of organic acids and probiotics can help to solve infection risks and reduce the use of antimicrobials in animals. Remember, reducing antimicrobial resistance is everybody's business. Take action today. Let's preserve our antibiotics for a healthier tomorrow.
You know, one of the things that come with climate change? Higher temperatures like we've been experiencing this summer. While we take action to address the fundamental issue, in the meantime, you might just want somewhere cool to hang out this summer. We've got you covered. How about visiting the cool Marshall's Pen Great House in Mandeville?
A land with a blue depth of Caribbean Sea embracing its shores, with trees shading your backs, with the wind gusting through the branches to play a reggae beat on our skins, and above all, a land with a tropical climate. It's warm weather all year round, but with a slight variation between summer, winter, and a little more variation between hot and cold, just cool enough. This is Jamaica, and this is a cool summer in Jamaica. If you want to experience a cool Jamaica this summer, an ideal place to be would be cool Mandeville, but not just anywhere in Mandeville, Marshall's Pen Great House. And this is where my next summer stop took me.
We're at my home and private nature reserve, which is Marshall's Pen in Mandeville. So Marshall's Pen is located north of Mandeville, in a village called Miketown. It's like the rest of Mandeville. It's a little bit cooler, not as cool as it used to be, but it's still cooler than Kingston.
This natural reserve supports many endemic and rare species of plants, birds, and reptiles. So if you're keen on learning about the beauty of nature, then you'll fall in love with this 18th century property.
Marshall's Pen is unique because of its location with mid-level forest, and to be so close to Mandeville and still have a lot of good quality forest. Jamaica has altogether 30 species of endemic birds, and 23 of those can be found right here. So as far as possible, I try and grow endemic and native species in the garden. So some of them are found here naturally, and some I bring from other places. Some examples are the Pitcairnia bromeliad, which I brought here from Dolphin Head. It has some lovely red flowers and attracts hummingbirds. There's also the vervine, which has pink flowers and attracts hummingbirds as well. Very, very pretty. We also have some herbaceous plants like ramgoat dashalong. It's called that because it's reputed to have the quality of natural Viagra. A lot of people drink it. I don't. But yes, so the scientific name is Turnera ulmifolia. So also in the garden we have some very large and very old trees, and they're covered with bromeliads and orchids and other sorts of epiphytic plants that grow on the tree but don't damage it. And many things live inside those plants. So we have the whole ecosystem in the tree. Royal palm trees are also endemic. They're another good bird feeding tree. The fruits are loved by things like white crowned pigeons or ballpates. We have one of Jamaica's prettiest lizards here, if people can think of a lizard as pretty. I do. And that's the Graham's anole. The scientific name is Anolis grahami, and it's endemic to Jamaica. It's not found anywhere else, but it has different colours across the island. So here it's turquoise and orange and green and blue. We have 3 different hummingbirds in the garden: red-billed streamer-tail, the vervain hummingbird, with the smallest, which is almost the smallest bird in the world, and also the mango hummingbird, which is larger than the streamer-tail but dark and has some red colour. We also have lots of butterflies, dragonflies, and beetles, but one interesting one is the brightly coloured orchid bee, which is a turquoise colour, and you'll see it in my garden. You'll see it not so much on orchids but on the anthuriums, where it's collecting the pollen from the flowers of the anthurium, and it's going to use the scent to attract other bees.
This isn't only a place to enjoy the gifts of nature. Learn some more about our history as you enjoy this summer, like what it might have been like in the time of coffee, What are the features of historic building designs?
The house was built probably in the early 1800s, and it has a traditional style of building. It had a wooden frame made out of Jamaican hardwoods like bullet and cedar, and the corners are made out of cut stone, and the spaces between them are filled in with what they call Spanish wall, which is made out of stones and red dirt, what they call red dirt mortar. Well, if you're walking around, you can also see the barbecues, which doubled then as now as a place to catch water. So there's no surface water here, so we have no springs, no wells, no other source of water but rainwater. And that's all caught on the roof and on the barbecue areas around the house, which are in the traditional style. And they were also used for drying coffee because this was a coffee property. Coffee really ended in the 1840s, and since then it's been a cattle property.
But the coffee storage house is now a cottage, so you can definitely stay over and enjoy eco-tours like bird watching and...
A lot of writers, bird watchers and artists love to come here to enjoy themselves, especially in the summer when it's cooler.
And just like that, a cool summer can be had in or Jamaica. There's somewhere here fitting for just about any temperature you'd like to experience.
You might be surprised to learn that our Blue Mountain coffee plants prefer a particular temperature range to grow. Temperature increases brought on by climate change may force coffee growing locations outside of their optimal range. The greater the degree of heat, the more stress is applied to the coffee plants, and the lower the output, quality and growth of the beans will be. So keep that in mind as you watch our next feature.
Everything in nature speaks, and it's for us to appreciate nature's dialect. The chirping of the birds,
the whispers of the trees,
a sound of life, a sound of earth's delight.
It's in the discovery of the essence of life that we get to partake in the nation's offspring. It's coffee, the signature taste of Jamaica.
The bowl of boiling coffee, morning.
I get up like 4:30 in the morning, 4:30, pretty early. First thing I do, I give the Creator thanks to waking me up, right? And then I pack my little bag and I head to the farm. Once you're in the farm, you connect with nature, right? Just like how the plants grow, that's the spirit that you have. I'm Stephen Hibbert, CEO of Exotic Blue Coffee Company, also the farmer of Exotic Blue Coffee Farm. Agriculture is a way of life for us who live in the mountain. Hence, I decided on going into coffee, and the reason for that, I have a full-time job, a job that takes me all over the island, right? Sometimes internationally as well. So I had to plant something that I don't have to be nurturing like a baby, 365 days a year. Hence, coffee was my dream call, and I grabbed it with both hands. You look on the stages of coffee. The coffee becomes white, that's the flowering. Then it becomes green, that's the berries start to form, and you're watching, that's a little baby growing up, and then the coffee's turning red, it's ripe. And then it goes straight to the processing, and then from the processing to the consumer. What other joy there is.
Pause. How about taking us through the process?
I bring coffee to you from the seed to the cup. What do I mean? The coffee is planted, I planted the coffee, right? Once the coffee is planted and nurtured and start to produce in about 2 years' time, the coffee is now processed. So once it is reaped, it is taken from the farm. And when we take it from the farm, it weighs 60 pounds. So just to take that out on your head, right? The passion in navigating those mountains, those slopes, right? Those 60-degree slopes. When coffee is planted, especially when they are young, it has to be grown under certain shades. So your shade cover can't be that too dense. So we normally plant bananas planting throughout the field. And once it reaches a certain stage, when the coffee reaches like a 3-year-old, we can start to remove those bananas from the farm. The banana also takes the nutrients away from the coffee. So hence we don't really plant and keep the bananas into the farm. Most farmers are really suffering from that. Right, you have the sooty mole, you have the white flies, leaf miner, and so on. But the critical one is the coffee berry borer. These are some little weevil that lays hundreds of eggs into the coffee. So field sanitation is crucial to mitigate against such. And we can use like chemicals and so on, but I move away from the chemical. I try to go the natural way. So what I do is set some traps in the farm to trap those berry borers. And also use field sanitation. Ensure that the dry coffee comes off the tree and the earth is dug up and they are buried, right? That's how I mitigate against the coffee berry borer. But there are real pests to the coffee. Now the coffee is now taken where it is processed, which is washed, pulped, and dry. The drying process takes you sometimes 3 weeks to dry, sometimes 4 weeks, based on the weather or the temperature in the mountains here. Once the coffee is now dry, it is rested. It stays in the storeroom for 8 weeks, minimum 8 weeks. After it is rested, it is now hulled, which goes to another machine. The machine cleans up the coffee, and then it is graded. Once this roast, we now grind, and I can give you a different style of roast based on what the consumer wants.
There's the Italian roast, the Turkish roast, the city and full city roasts, the dark roast, and the medium roast. It is ultimately entirely up to you to decide on the roast that best suits your palate.
The coffee is then packaged and delivered. 2 years ago, we weren't making any money out of coffee, right? Because I used to sell my coffee to the processors, right? And there are a number of processors in Jamaica. It's hard work, very, very hard work. You have to be dedicated to be a coffee farmer. Sometimes the price is not right? But you still have to dig deep and bring good coffee to the consumer. Sometimes when your consumer call you, your customer call you and say, this coffee is the bomb. It gives you that energy, so you want to go more. Jamaica is prized, the coffee is prized, and you are a part of that process. It gives you that spirit inside of you to go further. I would encourage young people to get involved in farming, get involved in coffee. Now, the more people we get in coffee, we can produce more coffee to send to the globe. It is a sought after coffee. It's one of the best coffee in the world right now. Jamaica Blue Mountain coffee.
It's that deep, rich coffee flavor.
That is the signature of Jamaica.
This year's one-day Denbigh Agricultural, Industrial and Food Show was a resounding success, attracting crowds from near and far. To give you a taste of the event, we caught up with Merlene Reed, otherwise known as Madam Merle, a long-time horticulture vendor who has seen it all at Denbigh.
They are Denbigh because I run 23 years now, but them time I never do business for myself. I come with Mr. Williams. For the last 10 years, I do business for myself. This year it's bad because like the storm blow and we think them gone, but we still have to see what we can do. When them come, them get good experience. Them come see, but you call the little people, them will dance. Them see cow, them see goat, them see some cow where them never see before. Them see goat where them never see before, Especially when tourists come to Jamaica, them to come at Denbigh.
If you missed the show this year, you certainly missed a vibrant display of Jamaica's agricultural and cultural richness. We've reached the end of our program. Get a recap of everything you saw here and more on our website, gis.gov.jm. On behalf of all of us here at the GIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.